She stood still, surrounded by endless sand and sky. The heat pressed down on her from every direction, heavy and unmoving. There was no shade anywhere nearby, no wind strong enough to bring relief, only the slow, crushing weight of the Sahara, stretching farther than the eye could see. The air itself felt hostile. Each breath was dry and thin, offering no comfort. The ground beneath her feet radiated heat, rising through her boots and into her legs. Standing still did not help. Moving did not help either. She had not planned for this. What began as a routine journey across a remote desert region had turned into something far more dangerous than she ever imagined. A single wrong turn, a mechanical problem she had not expected, and suddenly everything changed. She was alone, with limited water, limited supplies, and no clear sense of direction. At first, she tried to stay calm. She reminded herself that panic would only waste energy. She told herself that help would come, that someone would notice she was missing, that rescue teams would follow her route once enough time had passed. She believed it. At least, she tried to. But as the hours passed, the desert offered no response, no distant sound, no movement on the horizon, only silence. The sun climbed higher, burning without mercy. Every step required effort. Her muscles began to ache. Her breathing grew heavier. Her mouth became painfully dry, and her lips slowly cracked beneath the heat. Each rationed sip of water became a decision. Drink too much, and there would be nothing left later. Drink too little, and her body would weaken faster than she could afford. By midday, the landscape began to lose its shape. The dunes blurred together, merging into a uniform sea of gold and shadow. Distances became impossible to judge. The horizon appeared closer one moment and impossibly far the next. She tried to mark her path in the sand. Footprints, small stones placed deliberately, anything to create a sense of direction. But the wind erased them almost immediately, sweeping them away as if they had never existed, as if the desert itself wanted to hide her presence. As the afternoon dragged on, her movement slowed further. Her thoughts became heavy and deliberate. Every decision felt monumental. Where to walk, when to stop, how much energy she could afford to spend. When night finally came, the desert transformed once again. The heat faded, replaced by a sudden, biting cold. Her body shivered as the temperature dropped faster than she expected. She wrapped herself in what little protection she had left, trying to conserve warmth. Above her, the sky exploded with stars. They were sharp and brilliant, filling the darkness completely. Beautiful, but indifferent. They made the desert feel even larger, and her even smaller. As the sun began to sink again on the following day, she stopped measuring time in hours. Time no longer mattered the way it once had. What mattered was staying conscious, staying upright, listening to her breathing, feeling her heartbeat slow, then suddenly race again without warning. The desert offered no mercy, no reassurance, only silence, and the growing realization that survival would demand far more than she had ever planned for. By the second day, exhaustion began to set in. Her thoughts slowed. Every decision felt monumental. The horizon looked identical in every direction. She tried to ration her energy, moving only when necessary. By the third day, her body began to betray her. Her muscles weakened. Her balance faltered. Even standing still required effort. Every movement caused a burning fatigue in her chest and legs. Thirst dominated her mind. Not hunger, not fear, only water. Her tongue felt thick, her throat dry. She began imagining condensation, moisture, anything that might quench her longing. By the fourth day, her mental state started to blur the line between reality and illusion. Shapes appeared in the distance, shadows that seemed to move. At times, she thought she heard voices. She spoke aloud, not to anyone, but to remind herself that she was still thinking, still fighting. Her steps slowed. Her breathing became shallow. Her heart pounded, even while standing still. The desert was no longer just an environment. It had become an opponent. By the fifth day, survival was no longer about distance. It was about moments. Moments between collapse. Moments between hope and surrender. Then, as the sun began to dip toward the horizon, she noticed a faint shimmer far ahead, a patch of light on the sand, or perhaps a reflection of water. Her heart stirred with a fragile hope. It was subtle, almost imperceptible, but enough to remind her she was not yet defeated. That even here, in the endless desert, a chance to survive still existed.